Let's see if I can do this one now. I don't want to do too many of these in one episode, but those who have not proven themselves in battle are not worthy of stepping inside. Yeah. Apparently I can do this one now. We're doing Star Door, frickin' whatever. Alrighty. I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. Enclosed is a report on the damage dealt to the former Principality of Northumbria by the Salt Pale. Also contained within is research on the Pale itself. The holy city of Arteria, Congregation for the Sacraments. We get a little backstory on this. I hereby present this report to you, Your Holiness, ever at the side of the goddess. The report contains classified information and may only be read by those with the clearance to do so. Certain sections of the utmost secrecy have also been blacked out. Progression of events after the Pale's appearance. July 1st, 1178, 5:45 a.m. An urgent report came in from Halisk Cathedral, and then Principality, now a state of Northumbria in northern Zumeria. It stated that a giant white pillar so tall that it appears to kiss the clouds had appeared on the outskirts of the city. Bishop Alexei, the one who sent the report, behaved as extremely unsettled by what has happened. Excuse me, I took a drink. By urgent order of the committee, 2 knights of the Gralsenritter, the 8th Dominion, aka the Roaring Lion, and a squire, both of whom were working on another mission in a nearby nation, were dispatched to perform a formal investigation. They hurried to the scene via the 8th Merkaba unit. Please note that the Merkabas had only recently been put into use at this point. They arrived promptly. At 6:22 a.m., this is what they saw. Enclosed is a photograph of the object now known as the Salt Pale. At this point, however, it was far larger than the term pale would suggest. It was more akin to a massive tower that soared hundreds of ards into the air. The 2 knights proved the following observation regarding the situation on their arrival. We were met with a mighty hailstorm blowing in our direction from Halisk, or so it appeared at first, till we eventually realized the storm contained not ice, but salt. The object's surface is completely covered with salt, making it impossible to tell what it may actually look like underneath. The surrounding air has become powdered salt, and it falls to the ground like snow on a tundra. Excuse me, I'm a little cottonmouth. I needed a drink. The spread of the solidification process was startlingly rapid, and the affected area spread in the blink of an eye. By the time the Gralsenritter appeared, the entire landscape of the capital had turned to salt, and the lives of many who lived there, like the aforementioned Bishop Alexei, had already been lost. Yet the spread did not stop there. A day after the Salt Pale first appeared, a vast coniferous forest zone north of the capital crystallized and collapsed. Bridges also collapsed, rendering all of the main highways out of the city unusable. Please note at this point, then ruler Prince Balmond had already fled the country to a nearby nation. 2 days passed since the Pale's appearance. By this point, roughly half of the entire principality had become a sea of salt. Countless refugees had fled to the southern side of the country because of the river Greve stood between it and the affected area. Finally, 3 days after the Pale's appearance, the salification process stopped at dawn. As a result, the Knights were able to advance on the capital of Halisk in the hope of investigating the salt pail. That afternoon, they finally reached it. But what they found looked completely different from how the pail had it before when they first arrived. In the corner of the solidified area, they found an object that was a mere 2.5 arge in height. Its surface was no longer blanketed in salt, rather it looked like it was something had been carved out of it. It was now believed that the pail's mass decreased as salification process progressed. In its smaller state, the pail had lost its power to turn swaths of country into salt, but its ability to salify was still very much intact. Anything that touched it, even for a millisecond, was instantaneously turned to salt. It was of the utmost importance to handle it with care. In order to complete the mission without physical contact, the Gralsunitor required the use of a sacred tool, Gleipnir, which was delivered to them from the high seat in Arteria. Since then, it has been kept closely sealed away deep within the high seat of Arteria. Still, while the recovery mission was ultimately deemed a success, the high damage caused was equally vast and significant. No damage to the surrounding nations was reported, but it resulted in the destruction of 3 of the 5 administrative districts of the Principality, including its capital. Over a third of the total population, along with the travelers from elsewhere, lost their lives. This is to say nothing of the emotional damage caused due to its sudden outbreak. The hearts of Northumbria's people were overwhelmed with fear. From a humanitarian and religious perspective, a swift response from the Septian Church was all but necessary. The decision was made to dispatch personnel to the region right away. And upon arrival, they set about rebuilding the damaged churches and healing both the physical and mental wounds of the people. Those who were left orphaned in the crisis were taken into the gospel facilities, where they would be cared for until adulthood. The northern region of the country, which had been turned entirely to salt, was placed under the church's control. It has been a restricted area ever since. After some time, the country's former leader, Prince Balmont, attempted to rebuild the government. But given that he had fled the country during its hour of need, caring only for himself and not for his people, all authority he once held was gone. The following year, the country's people led an armed uprising, and the Principality of Northumbria was no more. Eventually, elections were held, and the country became a democracy, thus bringing about the birth of the autonomous state we now know. This was also when the former Principality's armed forces reformed as a vigilante corps. Given the extreme poverty of the state, however, the majority of the said corps considered gathering foreign currency to be of the utmost importance. This was how the large-scale Jaeger Corps, known as the Northern Jaegers, was first established. So the former military of Northumbria turned to mercenary work due to the mass poverty of the state. That makes a lot of sense, actually. As far as the rest of Zumeria is concerned, This is where the tale of the salt pail ends, but a number of very important questions still remain unanswered. Perhaps the most obvious: where did it come from? Despite the considerable size of the object and that it appeared on the outskirts of a populated city, no information is available regarding the moment it first appeared. The most popular theory is that its appearance was due to something akin to spatial transportation, but no hard evidence exists to support this or any other theory. Of more importance, however, is its positioning in the teachings of the Septian Church. The pail is certainly different in nature to artifacts and appears to be a more fundamental manifestation of the goddess powers of creation. With the limits of our knowledge at present, this is as far as we can get to the truth. There are some who have proposed it may have been one of the septarians, but no evidence has been found in legend or scripture to support this. Nevertheless, these questions and others need answering, and the Congregation of the Sacraments continues to study the pail to this day. The most accepted proposal comes from those who believe the pail should have been as nothing more than a gift from Adios, and they continue to consider various means for her church to make good use of it. They carved it into weapon. That's how... Okay, that explains where Kevin got his fucking salt arrows. The most realistic of these plans is using it in the manufacture of sacred tool for execution. Parts of the pail were cut away using high-pressure water, and then surrounding with a cylinder made from a salt crystal, allowing them to be fired directly into a target without requiring the user to make direct contact. Should the bolt make successful contact with a human target, their whole body will turn to salt, killing them in mere seconds. There are no means for reversing or stopping the process. This approach does not come without flaws. It seems unwise to be careless with an object we still do not understand the true nature of. For one thing, there are also humanitarian concerns with executing someone in this manner. Still, it does bear mentioning that should there ever be a case where a target needs to be eliminated without fail, this would be the most surefire way to carry it out. It should go without saying that the research on it is intended to continue to the future. So that was some backstory on the salt pail and where Kevin's salt bolts come from. That's terrifying, actually. Trial use begins for the sacred tool, top secret work only. Permission granted to use in the execution of, presumably, Weizmann. Salt pail used in execution of Weizmann, fired from blowgun. I can connect the dots on what's redacted from there. Results were extremely favorable. No damage was caused to the surrounding area. The target was also successfully erased. About the target, Georg Weizmann, was orphaned by the salt pail when it first appeared. A brief history is as follows. Joined the Septian Church, joins the congregation, promoted to bishop, declared a heretic and excommunicated from the church. That's definitely Weizmann. The salt pail. Petrify in 3500. Can't use Petrify there. I can use Attack 4. Considering he's a heavy hitter, it'd be good to have that, actually. But that's... Hold on. We're going to use Petrify there. I don't know who that's supposed to be. I haven't looked any of that up yet. That is Zen. And I believe that is also Zen. But we're not doing another side story door right now. Because I don't want that to be the whole episode. I'll open up the next episode with those, however. Hold on. Because I can go to the Hermit's Garden and recharge my combat points. CP. Whatever they're supposed to be called. Yeah, down this way. I wonder if... What's-her-name is over here. I don't see her. She might be up here. No. I don't know which path she went down. I don't know where Reese is. She's around here somewhere. We're gonna leave her alone for a while. Treasure! There's the entrance to the next plane. I doubt the pattern will change up, so yeah. Yeah. Entrance exam results. And for 33 of those years, I hated that damn place. He snapped between chewing cuts of lamb after swallowing, he added. Who's going to run it? I sure ain't. And you're no carpenter. Entrance exam results. Wait! Wait. Bring to me the darling of pure white radiance and proof of her scholarship. I needed those to get that. Darling of pure white radiance. I don't know if that would be Chloe or not. It might be. A letter to Chloe Rhines informing her that she had passed. Yep, that's definitely Chloe's door then. We'll have to do that in another episode. Shut up, phone. That was a delayed response to that. Just a weather report. Wind advisory. Yeah. Patreon. An artist I follow. Okay. Where are we now? Still in Phantasma. Nowhere I've seen before, judging from where I'm standing. Oh my. It's a mountain range. Oh, it's that! I know what this is. What a beautiful view. It's the Bracer training grounds. Well, this is a lot prettier than the last plane, at least. This must be another real place that's been recreated in the Phantasma, much like the capital. Most likely. Just where is it, though? Somewhere in Liberl? Meaning I'm either getting Annalise or Estelle, because I know Annalise is a playable character in this game. People in the subreddit told me, because I really like Annalise's design. I think she's adorable and bubbly. They said she is completely broken in this game. I doubt it. I don't really know the details. They spared me the details because spoilers are the Antichrist. I doubt it. It's not familiar to me. My best guess is it would be somewhere in the Crone Mountains, but the air suggests otherwise. Oh. What's the Bracer Guild's emblem doing here? It looks like this place really isn't... Looks like this really isn't a place that exists in Liberl. Yeah, it's gonna be Estelle or Annalise, because both of them were here. Or maybe Shara. I'm not familiar with any either. Nor am I aware there are any buildings like this in Calvert. Once you look at that, the answer is right under our nose the whole time. Yeah, Laylock. I know that name. Wasn't it the training camp Estelle went to for a while? You know, last year with Annalise. That's the one. It's a guild-owned facility located in Le Mans State. I've never been there myself, though. I've only heard about it from Estelle. So this is Laylock. I've never trained here personally, but it's famous among bracers. That leaves us with yet another problem to solve. Le Mans State is a fairly significant distance away from Le Burrell. It is. It's further away than both Arabonia and Calvert. Neither of those are particularly far away from Le Burrell. They both border Le Burrell. But you know, I may not have a clue how a place in Le Mans ended up being created here, or why. Magic. But if our enemies did it, they must have a reason. I still don't know what the frickin' Master of Phantasma's whole deal is. There doesn't seem to be malice in what he's doing. He's just doing it. I guess I'll figure that out along the way. Monsters. Oh no. Here comes trouble. I suppose beastmen would be a best term for these things. This is probably what your next destination is a path of beast was referring to. Another mystery solved. Watch out, there's a lot of them. Well, let's fuck them up. Let's go mortal punishment on these.
Let's end this.
Oh, I just now realized the music's frickin' bopping. Reminds me of like friggin' DS era turn-based RPGs or something like that of friggin' Mega Man Star Force. You know, a while back I saw a copy of Mega Man Star Force 3 Black Ace at a local retro game store. Now, I have a copy of Red Joker, so that's not a big deal. I also have Zerker Soaring and Leo, but that's not important. Do you know how much they wanted for that game? $80! I paid $20 for my copy used at that same game store. Same goes for Leo. Well, actually, I got Zerker Soaring new at that used at that game store. $80. Even if my 3DS, both of my 3DS systems go completely kaput, never to work again, I'm not selling those. Ever. Now, I sold my copy of ZX or GX, whatever the fuck it's called, because I have that collection, as well as the Zero collection for PlayStation, so it's not a big deal. That one's readily available on digital platforms. The Star Force is not. You know, unless we get a Star Force collection like we got with the whatever it's called, Battle Network collection. I need to finish Battle Network. I'm getting off track. Run away, chicken shit! They're smart little devils. Devils do seem a lot more intelligent than your average monster. Enough to make me wonder whether these are another kind of impossible fiend like the rest. I'm with you there. I can't pretend to be an expert on the monsters of Le Mans, but I'm pretty sure they're not this smart. Yeah. Here she comes. You have done well to come this far. On this plane, there are 3 ordeals to overcome. If you overcome them all, then the next path will open. Take this. It's a map of Laylock. Be forewarned. The Lord of Phantasma's goal is your... Well, she didn't stick around long. She's probably got a little power left now. It's difficult for her to show herself. So it seems. It must be frustrating. Still, she left us with a useful gift. A map of the region. Yeah, I'm gonna go into that building behind us to see if there's any kind of loot. A rest area. Loot. Freezing meatballs. Empty. No, no, my friend. I'm filled with artisan-type voidness. Artisan-style voidness. That's cute. That's amusing. I like that. Like all these chest messages, they're kind of dumb. I go back to talking about friggin' retro games in the next episode. Mind 4. You know who's getting that one. Mr. Tittles looks up with annoyed expression. You disturbed his nap. Mr. Tittles? Okay. Oh, I need to upgrade her court slot for that, which is not a big deal. Nothing. Carnaria bracelet. Will write flavor text for food. Luck. 6 out of 12. 50 years later. The dangling health-a-thon swung limply in Hideko's house, forgotten and neglected. It had been purchased 50 years before, purely on Sato's recommendation. And nothing. I think this was Estelle's room. I'm thinking it's going to be Annalise, Shara, or Estelle who I unlock here. See if I can get a better cast. Yeah, cast level 2. I mean, Chloe is my caster, so... You really want the chain to continue. So, ideally, having all water courts here would be best to really get that chain going. Hold on. increase AP. It's not a bad setup, but yeah, that chain doesn't really work all too well. His is honestly pretty good. Just as this. Like how Zen's kind of well... Like Chloe, it really wants you to keep that water chain going. How can I describe this? Basically, if I can pull my cursor over here. These are chains going. You want to continue the chain of the same color of quartz to increase its potential. However... Oh, for fuck's sake. However, you also have characters like this where the chain branches. You want to continue a blue chain on a blue one. These all quartz fine. That's pretty much what yellow means. If it was brown, you would want earth, green is wind, red is fire, black is time, silver is space. I guess gold here would be a gold quartz chain. You get the idea. You have characters like Zen here, where it can pretty much function any way you want it to. However, I'm still going to have to rework everyone's quartz. Like, you want a green one here, you want a blue one here, you want red ones where these red chains are going, though it doesn't always work out that way. Gold where the gold chain is going. Strangely, it really wants Chloe to have a gold chain, but there's blue points. You have some where they have to be a certain color of quartz. So, you have to work your strategy with the limitations of what you can put in the quartz slot. And for example, that's an earth quartz only. But I can put an attack 4 there. Go ahead and keep shield 4 there. Blue quartz there. Yeah, that's fine. Mind 2 wouldn't really be good for you. Let's have more movement on you so you can walk up and punch someone in the head. I'm going to end this one here. Thank you all for watching. Join me next time on Trails in the Sky 3. As I, well, go view another backstory and continue with this here. But until then, I'm TheDarkSeraph signing off. Hit the wrong button.